We also face a new threat that the next epidemic has a good chance of originating on a computer screen of a terrorist intent on using genetic engineering to create a synthetic version of the smallpox virus or a contagious and highly deadly strain of flu. So the point is that we ignore the strong link between health security and international security at our peril. Whether it occurs by the quirk of nature or at the hand of a terrorist, epidemiologists show through their models that a respiratory spread pathogen would kill more than 30 million people in less than a year. And there is a reasonable probability of that taking place in the years ahead.
Okay, there you go. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This is Ainaya Allah with the beloved truth. As you can see, basically what he has done subliminally is warn his predecessors or, his colleagues, I'll say, not his predecessors, of what is to come. Now, we know this through a term they call predictive programming. This is nothing more than a warning to what's going to happen in the very near future. These events are set up to lead us into the finality of the New World Order. Okay. And the finality of the New World Order, as they show you in movies, is what? Anarchy. Governments rising against governments. And, all sorts of perilous or dangerous things to come. But we know all of this because it's written in the scriptures on what's basically going to take place. Now, you have a lot of Bible, thumpers or Bible critics and Bible people that study the Bible, whether they be apologetic Christians, whether it be any, sect that deals with prophecy. They all have an idea of the scriptures, but a lot of them, a lot of these groups can't cope with the fact, or not just cope, they don't prescribe to or ascribe to the fact that these things are going to happen in the times that we live in. The Lord's second coming, the tribulation that's supposed to take place. They have an idea of what's supposed to take place, but they don't have the full understanding. And the full understanding is given to the elect men of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Who the Spirit is dealing with, who his Spirit is dealing with, So I'm, basically set up to break or to give you a visual and break it down, As the scriptures say, make the vision plain upon tables, which I'll get right now. All right. Because the vision is what? The vision is the will of the Most High, things that the Most High has said was going to take place, in which they are taking places as of now, as we speak, and then manifesting themselves, as you can see, with the predictive programming of, I'll read the scripture first and then I'll go into predictive programming, because we see this in the movies, we see it in the media. All right. It's propagated to us, it's told to us, it's shown to us before it actually happens. And that's what you have here in one of the forms that they're using to do it in is, the media. But as you can see, that was Bill Gates. If you don't know him by now, one of the head honchos for eugenics. All right. So I'll go to that scripture. I believe it's back up 2 and 1. All All right. So Habakkuk 2:1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And so the Most High is really the one that gives us you know, gives us what we need to know. In a sense, that's how he deals with the elect men. When you read Second Esdras, which I'll get, it says, "Speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy." You know, and that's what we're set up to do, the elect men. And this is part of the prophecy. This is part of the things that's going to take place. A lot of these people out here, apologetic Christians, they believe the tribulation already happened. And those were just, when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, those were just the beginnings of the end of the world 2,000 years ago. And we're that much far along, you know? So I'm going to keep reading. Verse 2, it says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak." So the pestilence is here for an appointed time. It's set up for an appointed time. Only because it's the will of the Heavenly Father, because he's the one that's really bringing on this death and destruction. When you really go into the scriptures, when the Most High give you to understand it, because it's going to make his second coming. Well, his son is going to make his second coming, Yahweh Shai. It's Yahweh's will, first and foremost. All right. So it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, all right, wait for it. Though it take a time, it's taking some time to manifest itself. You got to wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So all these signs and all these things that we see, it's only tarrying for now until they come. All right. And a lot of these leaders out here have the people oblivious to the reality behind the times that we live in, man. So I guess Second Esdras chapter 15 verses 1. All right. Because this is not something that we should take lightly, and these leaders, they have the people wooed or overwhelmed with their smooth speech and their prosperity doctrine and all these strongholds that keep us from knowing exactly what's going to happen, because we're supposed to know all things. The scriptures say perilous times shall come, dangerous times. Second Esdras 15:1, it says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination." So the Most High's word, his will, his prophecy is faithful and true, man. Everything else is rubbish. Everything else is crap. All right. "Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." And the incredulity is the disbelief. Okay. And those imaginations are the strongholds that hold them back from understanding the will of the Most High. Okay. Whether it be, i.e., holding on to the society, believing in this society fully, not understanding that the fact that the Most High is taking the pomp from this place, the pride, and he's slowly but surely taking away the rulership out of the so-called white man's hands, Esau. All right, everybody has a time that they rule. Okay, as we have history as the best teacher. Nations were set up and they were taken down. America just happens to be it's a time and place for all these nations to rule, and right now it's America's, or Esau's, the Edomite rulership. It's time for them to rule, but the Most High is going to take them down. All right, because it's the most wicked times that we have witnessed on the face of the planet Earth throughout all history. Now are the worst time, because homosexuality is globalized, and they're upholding this standard. They're upholding this way of life. They're upholding it and inducing it in the society and inducing it in the culture. They're forcing you to accept it. So it's the worst time ever because homosexuality is not nature. Nature tells you to procreate, recreate. Homosexuality tells you to sterilize yourself, you know, and it's the polar opposite of what the Most High have set up from the beginning. All right. Now back to the scriptures: for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So our people that don't believe, it doesn't matter. They're gonna die in their unfaithfulness because they don't believe in the Heavenly Father and His will, and actually what time they live in. People want to uh, accept the the fake environment that was created. And the elites are going to shut the door on this place because they have a greater agenda. Okay. They're going to shut the door on America. They're going to, they're going to let the pestilence loose. They're going to let all these. And by the way, this is just one avenue of how things are going to play out, and these dangerous things that's going to play out. This is just one avenue because you have the famine. Okay, people are going to die by the sword. The sword, the modern day sword, is a gun. People are going to die from hunger or starvation. People are going to die, from basically bugging out and having no foundation. So back to I'm gonna go to Matthew chapter 24, verses 7, because we have history as a tool for what is going to take place. All right. Now, a lot of the apologetic Christians, they say, well, this is already taking place. This prophecy is already taking place. It's going to take place again before the Most High send His Son for a second and final time, before His kingdom is established. Certain prophecies haven't been fulfilled, and that's how the Bible is. The Bible is it'll give you one prophecy. It'll give you one prophecy, and that prophecy has to be done 3 or 4 times to fulfill the finality of the Lord's will. That's just how it works. They have no understanding, because really, when you peel the layers behind their belief, they don't want the Most High to come back. They don't want the evil times to come back. That's why they pray for the evil to continue. They pray for America. Which America is damned on all sides. Even its very beginning, its very inceptions, under the rule of the so-called white man, its foundation is damned. It's condemned from its very birth. So Matthew 24:7 says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. Now, was that taking place during the time of Yahushua, when Yahushua was on the scene? Yes, it did. That was the very end time. That was the start of the end times, when He ascended into heaven. Okay. That was the very start. All right. It says plague. And that's basically what the biochemical warfare is. It's a plague that's going to be placed on the earth. Now, it said it can kill up to 30 million people within a year's time. And we know the agenda of the so-called white man, the Georgia Guidestones. Part of the New World Order's philosophy, part of their commandments, is that they kill off 6.5 billion people. All right. And they maintain over 500 million people on the earth. This is their agenda. We already understand their agenda. Okay. And we lining up with the scriptures, and the scriptures tell us, what to expect in the times that we're living in. All right. So it's nothing fanatical. It's nothing, drawn up, and we're just, crazy about overwhelmingly zealous about, the things that's going to take place. These things are going to take place. You're going to see them manifesting. So it's not going to be a question of are they fanatical, or are they you know, are they going overboard with what they're saying? You're going to see these things manifest. And we're just here to tell you. All right. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. So these things were happening during the time of Yahweh Shai, but that was just the beginning, you know. So it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Now these groups are not being hated, okay? Great Millstone is the ones that's being hated. Why? Because really, when you go into our doctrine, it is that of the ancient, it is that of an antiquity. It is the old paths that they've been trying for so long to get rid of. So when we bring these ways back up and show you this is the way the Most High wants to establish the world, this is the righteousness that the Most High wants to establish, they go against that because they've been trying for so long to get rid of the old way, you know. And that's why we're gonna be hated, man. It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And we already know these things have been taking place for a long time, for the last 2,000 years, leading up till now. When Yahweh Shai ascended, that was the end of the world. That was the beginning of the end of the world. It says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right. So I'm gonna get to the points. All right, the real points. So all right, Salaki. All right, and just to make a point, verse 13 it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Now, it was like I said, the end started when Yahweh Shai ascended, and even his apostles, his disciples did endure, but they were put to death. Okay, but the majority of them were put to death, man. I believe John the Revelator was one of the last apostles, disciples at that time, and he was put on the island of Patmos. Okay, what to be persecuted? He was put in slavery to mine the salt, and that's when he got his revelation. That's when he was being revealed all these things that was going to take place. Okay, now those things happen, but it's talking about now. Those that endure in these times, because these are the very last times. These are the times where we see the most signs leading up to the Lord's coming back. Okay, so don't be fooled by some apologetic doctrine. All right, it's really all madness because they don't have the spirit of the Lord dealing with them. That's why they want everybody to come together. Okay, that's why they have the love doctrine, which the Lord ain't even in the spirit of love, because he said he's not coming back. He's not coming back with peace. He's coming with his sword, roughly paraphrasing. All right. And they don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept that reality. They don't want him to come back, because when he comes back, he's coming back with vengeance. The scriptures say vengeance is in mine heart. So that's what the Lord is thinking about, He's thinking about vengeance. All right. So yeah, I'm going to read 14 and 15. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And it's being preached into all the world. And that's why it's a heavy thing. That's why these apologetic Christians and all these other factions are coming against who? Great Millstone, because they're waking up through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, and they know who the teachers are. They know who the Lord has set up, and they're giving double honors. And you see all these, men throughout the whole world waking up, and saying double honors and giving praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's what these elites are afraid of, and that's why they come against the doctrine. They can come against the doctrine all they want. It's for us to know. That's why we believe, like the scriptures say, man, to the ungodly or, to the just, all things are just, but to the ungodly or to the, I'm roughly paraphrasing, to the ungodly, everything is, basically abominable. So they don't believe, they're not going to believe, and there's other precepts, you know, to you know, to signify their standpoint on, our, on our truth, this thing of ours. That's why we always say this thing of ours, because we were revealed. They're the ones that's on the outside looking in, not we. Not the other way around. It says, verse 15, it says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Now that this had already taken place during the time of right after Yahweh Shai. That's why you have 70 AD, all right? And, you know, Titus, Pompey, Titus, Vespasian, and Domitian, and in the fall, the fall of Israel, the great falling away, as it says in Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, that was the falling away. Now we have fallen away, and the spirit of truth has been regenerated, or we have been regenerated, and is woken us back up, according to Malachi chapter 4 verses 4, through the spirit. All right. And these are the things that they're not going to accept. Okay. Though you know though it works within our within ourselves affectionately, we have received the truth affectionately. We have received it. um the spirit of the Lord has woken us up to it, but not all believe. All right. So back to my point, verse 16, it says, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Masada, okay? It says, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray, but pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall the great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Okay. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Now this happened, all right. This particular scenario happened already, but it's going to happen again. Okay, it's going to happen again according to the scriptures. All right, Romans 15, because like I said, history is a tool. History is we learn from history, and being that these are the very last times where the most signs are being revealed, certain prophecies happen, twice to fulfill the will of the Most High. You know, it says, verse 4, it says, Romans 15:4, it says, for whatsoever thing were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Okay. So it was written for our learning. Now we're in the time of these things basically taking place again, man. When you read 2 Ezra 16, it's alluding to the end of the world, man. And these are the very ends that we're seeing now. So this is 2 Ezra 16:38. It says, when a woman with child is in the 9th month, bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side. Okay? And that's talking about time. This talking about now, man. It says, "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, to thy battle." All right, and this is the battle of knowing exactly what's going to happen and take place in these end times. It says, "And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." And that's the spirit that we have to be in, man. You know, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. So we understand that we will lose if we, have certain things set up for, revenue, you know. We use these things to get by, So don't, just to clarify, because you have to clarify certain things that, reprobates out here. Great millstone to say one thing, like don't be into the world, but we have to be into the world to survive on a daily basis, have our daily bread, and then you got scoffers that are come against us and use that against our own words against us, but they never had the understanding or the clarification to begin with. You have to have the spirit of being as the scriptures say, being sluggy, being a pilgrim, it has to be in your mind first, you know. So let me see. Oh, Second Ezra chapter 8 verses 50. Second Ezra 8 and 50, it says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them, and that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." And that's how the world is. That's how they, going about their daily lives in great pride, man. That's why they don't think this place is gonna be taken out. That's why they think the tribulation is not gonna come in their time. It says, "But understand for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee." Okay, for unto you is paradise open. All right, and that's particular. It's talking about. It says unto you, man. So it's possessive. It's a select few. Unto you is paradise open. The tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. That it's talking about the kingdom. Plenteousness is made ready. A city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. But the point here is in verse 50. "For many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time." All right. The Lord hasn't came back. Those Jews over there, and those Jewish, they're not Jews, and then that's a derogatory term. That's not the correct term. All right. The real term is Israelites. They're not Israelites. Those Israelis, those Amalekite Jews, Jewish, all right, people over there, they haven't been established through the spirit and power of the Lord and his, the Most High and his Son, Yahweh Shai. We're the ones that's going to be established, and it's going to be like the scriptures say. They're going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation. Okay, because it was more than they expected. They're not going to expect us to be saved, and that's why they're really in derision, man. They really don't know what's really going on, and that's why they're trying to piece at the doctrine. But they're scared because this thing is being is being a lot of the things that we're saying are being fulfilled. A lot of things that we're doing is being the scriptures. They're being fulfilled, man. But like I said, I can go on and on, but I'm a really just close it off right there, because these are the times that we have to look for. These are the things that's going to happen. The pestilence, and don't be dismayed when you see 30 million people die of a bio plague, man. Because it's in the scriptures. All right. And don't be swindled, and don't let no man tell you that these things are not going to take place, because they're just taking your crown away. They want you to be stuck in this pseudo environment. They want you to believe in this American dream. They want you to believe that America is the kingdom of heaven, which it's not. All right. So the Most High will make his coming, man. And these are the signs that's leading up to it. These are the most pertinent signs that's leading up to his coming. So with that, I'll give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, double honors To the apostles and elders at Green Millstone, this has been another one with Anaya Allah, the beloved truth. Hey, Shalom.